Frankie says, hey guys, some help, please. Yeah, Frankie, I read through this and I gave a brief answer there, but I did want to spend a few minutes on this, and we're running out of time, guys, and I apologize. But I do want to spend a couple minutes on this. So Frankie says, hey guys, some help, please. Having a rather big problem. I have a rank and rent towing website for 2 to 3 years now. Today, a competitor is contacting me and said, I've only changed the location details. He said, city, county, and city of laws prohibit an operation such as yours to operate unlicensed. We will take legal action as well as communicate to the county towing regulations of your unlawful internet practices, as well as the city of whatever. We are a legitimate business and pay for licenses, insurance, and taxes. You are a fly-by-night website with nothing except selling leads. You have been warned. Is any of this true? Has anyone dealt with something like this? Should I be worried, or is this BS? Okay. I don't know whether this guy's just blowing smoke up your ass because he's a jealous competitor, or if that's really true, but you need to find out if that is true. If you're going to be operating lead generation in that industry, you need to make sure that you're complying with the laws, or else you could be potentially in trouble, Frankie. And so I would recommend that what you do. However, that said, I want to be real clear here, guys. And I started to type all this out yesterday, Frankie, but I didn't because I figured it would take me too long to type, number one, but number two, it'd be easier just to explain it. Yelp doesn't have to have proper licensing and insurance to advertise or to have a listing from a towing company. So why should your website have to have proper licensing? Well, because if you're using a pseudo brand, a generic name brand, that company, that generic or pseudo brand company, fake company essentially, is not licensed, doesn't have proper insurance. But if you have a service provider that you have a good working relationship with, what is a good working relationship? Well, to me, that's a service provider that has been paying on time, that I have good rapport with, right? I communicate well with, and that pays on time, essentially. As long as you have a good working relationship with the towing provider that you're selling the leads to, why not just rebrand the website for them? Rebrand it, put their name on it, put their logo on it, keep your tracking number on it, but put their license number in the footer and all that. Do all the stuff that is required to comply with those laws with their, if they're a licensed towing contractor or towing company, they're going to have all the proper licensing and everything. Which, by the way, if you're selling leads to companies that require licensing, guys, make sure they have licensing. Like, I don't sell tree service leads to companies that don't have contractor's license. You see what I'm saying? And proper insurance, liability insurance and all that stuff. That's one of the things I require from the contractors I sell leads to, because I don't want that to ever come back and bite me in the ass. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, Frankie, it could be just a jealous competitor, but it's in your best interest. Ignorance is not an excuse, right? And so you should find out if that's true. And then also, like I said, if you have somebody that is licensed and insured and all that, then why not just rebrand it for them, right? You still own the domain. You still maintain control of the website. You maintain control of the tracking phone number, but you put their brand, their logos, maybe their address on it, but it would be your phone number, right? And then put their licensing number or whatever is required to be displayed on the marketing collateral for that type of business. Just like, realtors have to have their license number, financial institutions or, have to have all kinds of regulation stuff in the footers of their sites. You may have to do the same thing. That's the easiest fix that I can tell you. Otherwise, get the hell out of that industry. And just so you guys know, one of the first lead gen sites I ever created, the first 2 lead gen sites I ever created, one was for carpet cleaning, one was for locksmiths in the state of Virginia. And I found out very similarly to what Frankie's saying, that there's a ton of regulations in the locksmith industry. And I don't know if it varies state by state, but in Virginia, it's heavily regulated. And so I found out, fortunately, I found out before it had caused any damage. And I just basically took the site down and I just abandoned it. Okay. So does anybody want to comment on that? Okay, moving on.